Okay. Okay. Today I will talk about cortical surface processing and analysis in children's data. I know it's a very huge topic, so I will narrow down to focus on the research I'm doing. Okay, firstly, why?
Maybe this is what we should worry about before AI. It's okay, we'll cut this out.
Yeah.
Just ChatGPT, just take over Microsoft.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Destroy it from the inside.
Okay, firstly, the research aim. My research question is to explore the cortical difference between very preterm and full-term children under age 9. So, it's a group comparison analysis, and the research aim is here. And how do we go about this? Yes, we need surface-based analysis, and we need 3 parts. The first part is surface generation, and then surface registration, and finally statistical analysis. I think this slide can give you an overview of what I will cover today, and but in each part I will not cover a lot of details because it will take a long time. So hopefully, I think after this presentation, you can have an overview about this surface-based analysis. Okay, first, in first part, the surface generation, we need to generate surface, use free surface, recant all, and then we need to convert all outputs into HCP-like styles because outputs from recant all, they are not gifted files. So we need use safety file recant out to convert our files to gifted file format, and then we need QC surface, and if surface is good, then we can move on to surface registration. As for surface registration, the first step is MS-SOC registration, and then QC registration. The registration is very important because if we want to compile at each vertex, we need to make sure for each participant the same the same vertex correspond to the same anatomical structure. So this is registration is very important. And if we QC registration and if everything is aligned, it's fine, then we can resample our native surface files to template, surface meshes and surface metrics. And finally, everything is aligned and we can do statistical analysis. In statistical analysis, we can do vertex-based analysis and we can do region-based analysis. Today, in my presentation, I will mainly introduce vertex-based analysis. I will introduce something about FSL PALM. Okay, the first part, surface generation. Because here my data is children data, so we need to use a free surface recant all pipeline to generate surface. For input requirements of recant all pipeline, the T1 image is a must, it's necessary. T2 is an optional. I know many of you are working on neonates, DHCP neonates data, and in neonates pipeline, the T2 is a must. This is because of the developmental reason. In children or adults, T2 image has better contrast between green and white matter. But in neonates, T2 image has a very great contrast between green and white matter. So at least in free surface for recant pipeline, T1 is a must. And here are the requirements, input requirements of recant or T1 image. You can also see it from free surface tutorials. I have attached a link. I have put the link here, and you can see the requirement for voxel size. Typically, for clinical data, the voxel size is 111, so it's fine. And also, this is a very basic scanning protocol, and the subject age, it must greater than 5 years old.
Where did you get that number from?
The free surface tutorials. this link. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, because in free server website, there's online tutorials about this information. Yeah. Okay. And here's a command how to run recon. I will not introduce in many details. If you do the same thing, just come back and look at this slide. And surface generation. Here, these figures are also from free server tutorials. And you can look at the tutorials in more details about pipelines. Anyway, here I just want you to see the outputs of recon. You can see our file in free server outputs. They are not gifted files. The file formats is because free server has its own file formats. You can only view this surface using free view. A visualization tool in free server, and you cannot open these files in WB view. Yeah, so this is why we need safety file recon all. It's another package to you can install. Here's the link. You can install, and then you just convert all outputs from recon all into safety into HCP style folders. And here you can see HCP style folders. They are MNI nonlinear folder. It means volume space is MNI space, and T1 space is native volume space. And in the native folder, you can see all the surface files are gifted files. Yeah, another thing is, I think you should know the nifty file is for volume data, and the gifted file is specifically designed to restore surface data, and the safety file is for combined volume and surface data. Yeah, this is a very basic.
But only the volume from the deep gray matter.
Sorry?
It's only the volume corresponding to the deep gray matter. Only gray matter.
Yeah, in safety, yeah. And then if we have convert, all outputs into HCP style folder, we can find this file, WB spike file. And we can QC the surface, because in this file, it will combine all different surface mesh and different surface metrics into only one file. Then we can QC using WB view. Okay, if we have checked surface is good, and now we can move on to surface registration. And here is the link of install new MSM and the configuration file you may find useful. And maybe you can ask Renato for help, how to install MSM. But I think the instruction here is very clear, and you just follow the instruction of this link. And another thing I want to mention here is the templates when we are doing MS SOC. Here's the link, HCP templates. If we just want to calculate cortical features, it's fine. We just use HCP templates. But if we want to calculate asymmetry maps, as we all know, in Logan's paper, Logan calculated asymmetry maps. We need to use symmetry templates here. And because in HCP templates, the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere, they do have vertex correspondence. But so-called maps, there's still some difference between left and right. So in Logan's paper, he used the symmetry templates, just average left and right so-called maps. So there's no difference between left and right. So anything, just remember, if you want to calculate asymmetry maps when you are doing MS SOC registration, remember use these templates Logan used in his paper. Yeah, and then if we
you're doing Are we talking about the childhood data?
Yeah,
And you're registering them to the HCP symmetric template?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, not the DHCP. The
Because it's
symmetric
children.
templates, those symmetric templates with the DHCP, right?
Each,
Oh, no. Young
this is
adults.
just a configuration file. Configuration file is same, but the templates are different.
Oh,
Oh, sorry, I'm
right, yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
But I think the key difference is that if you use the MSM SOLC configuration from the HCP, it's designed for alignment of function, so it does not align for well at all because of the folding functional correspondence issue. So it's barely more than affine. So the other configurations that we've got, either from Logan's paper, it's probably the same as that one at the top or similar, right? It's got much lower regularization of the warp so that the folding alignment is better. Both of them are about 0.05, I would assume, like the number.
Yeah. Okay, so
I'm still confused though. So in Logan's GitHub has the HCP young adult symmetric templates.
yeah. Because in Logan GitHub folder, we can find the symmetry templates of each. Because Logan has processed the circle maps and the average left and right circle maps. So there's no difference between left and right circle maps.
You only want to do that if you are actually doing full-blown asymmetry
analysis. Yeah.
Otherwise, you just want to use the original HCP.
Yeah, original.
Are symmetric. They're just not the same.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then if we have finished the MS SOC, we can QC the registration. This is a template. Yeah, this is HCP template. And then if I, oh, sorry. Anyway, yeah, it can move. It's a template, and then each subject circle map, you can see everything is aligned. And if MS SOC registration is good, then we can resample all native files to the template. For this part, you can go back to Saga's presentation, because in Saga presentation, she introduced a lot of details about how to do surface resample, how to do metric resample. And then here I want to mention is a way of how to calculate the surface area. It's different as before, because before we calculate surface area in native space. You can see firstly we calculate surface area in native space, then use metric resample to resample the native surface area into the template. And in this way, you can see it's biased. If you look at the surface area in the surface mesh, actually, Saga shared this point with me. Maybe I think after this presentation, Saga can help me to clarify. Yeah, and the correct way is now the new way is we should firstly resample the white matter surface to the template, and then calculate the surface area. Calculate the surface area not in native space, but in the template space, in the aligned space.
Have you got images of like how different they look one than the other?
Yeah, I have seen the image, but I didn't put it on the slide.
The reasoning for this is because of everything to do with surface processing is confusing. When the template surfaces in 32K FSLR space haven't actually moved from the actual native volume space. They've just been resampled to have the topology of the target mesh, which means that each vertex is corresponding, it has spatial correspondence, as in they match, but they haven't moved. They're actually in the original native surface space. So then that means that when you resample your native surface, the shape stays the same, but you get the topology of the target mesh. And that means that every single face on that mesh represents the same amount of the same tissue across all subjects, and then you can actually compare them. Otherwise, it's not actually comparable. If that makes
Yeah, maybe I should pick one figure. Yeah, here, but I don't put. Okay, if everything is aligned, and finally we can do statistical analysis. And in statistical analysis, we can do region-based analysis. We just use labels to segment, populate our brain. And also we can do vertex-based analysis using FSL PAM. Yeah, for FSL PAM, I think maybe many of you haven't used this statistical analysis. So here today I just want to introduce some very basic conception about PAM. Yeah, firstly, the full name of PAM is permutation analysis of linear models. I think you're familiar with linear models, but what's permutation analysis? Permutation analysis is a non-parametric method. In statistics, we have two ways. One is non-parametric, and another is parametric. As you may know, two-sample theta is the ANOVA. ANOVA is for three-group comparisons. They are both parametric methods.
They're parametric because?
They're parametric because the data distribution must be normal.
Yeah.
So here for permutation test, it don't require your data distribution. It must be normal. So in many of research, the reality is most of our data, the sample size is very small and they are not normal. So we use non-parametric method. We use permutation test to calculate statistics, to calculate p-values. Okay, this is the first conception. And the second conception is, as someone may know, in PAM, we use TFCE, threshold-free cluster enhancement. Okay, the first word, cluster. Because as you know, in our brain, many voxels in volume-based analysis or vertices in surface-based analysis, they have spatial correlation and they are not independent. So we need to use cluster-based method here. And for cluster-based method, typically we need to firstly set up a specific value to define the cluster, to define the size of cluster. This is a typical way to do cluster-based method, but it's very arbitrary and it's different across different studies. So here, nowadays, I think most people would like to use threshold-free cluster enhancement because you don't need to set a specific value, specific threshold value here. Yeah, so this is how you can understand this method, TFCE. You can look at this paper about more details about.
I'm still a bit confused by this whole TFCE thing. It is related to the multiple comparison correction, right?
Yeah.
So if you're thresholding, instead of correcting for how many.
Yeah, but
so
you're
doing it. Something to do with like cluster-based thresholding.
Well, I think it's the enhancement that's the problem, and it's that it enhances like it'll have very different effects. Like, so for some subjects, you might have an enhancement where like your signal is boosted up to like, I don't know, 300, and in another metric it might go up to like thousands. And so if you're comparing them, when the distributions are combined, you end up not being able to, like, it affects like your p-values.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we need to go back and maybe we should at some point have a presentation on that old threshold-free cluster.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Introduce more details about
If we're having enough problems with this, we should actually just read the paper again. Well, I should read the paper again, and when I should read the paper. Carry on.
Okay. And another conception is about multiple test correction. Yeah, Emma just mentioned before. And actually, it's very common in medical research. We need to use multiple comparison correction. And many of you may ask why we need to multiple, comparison correction. This is because this is something about, statistics. If we do many tests in one research study, we can easily get false positive results, just like cluster, because we have lot of clusters. Our vertex, we have a lot of vertex. And if we do a lot of tests, and we can easily get false positive results, especially in your image studies. And here I also give you some sightings of how to understand multiple tests in in some research, in medical research. And the first thing is just like multivariate analysis. And you have just like PMA is Y, and you have a lot of XX different brain regions. It means you have a lot of hypotheses. So you need multiple test correction. And the second side is, as we all know, for ANOVA, it's for 3 group comparisons, group A, B, C. And if you have a global significant result here, and then you need to post hoc analysis between only 2 groups, group A and B, B and C, A and C. And so here you have 3 types. So you need to multiple comparison correction. And this is another setting. And finally, as we all know, for cortical features, we have different modalities. We have cortical thickness, we have surface area, and we have surface area and cortical thickness, and we have circle maps. And also we have 2 contrast. One contrast is preterm group have great value, and another contrast is very preterm have great value. And also we have left and right hemisphere, because we will do the palm separately for left and right. Yeah, so this all of these are multiple tests. And if we just use alpha 0.005 to see the p-value, we can easily get false positive results here. And then we need multiple corrections. And typically there are 2 ways that are commonly used in research: FWE and FDR. Firstly, FWE, its full name is family-wise error. 2 of these methods, they are being used to control they are being used to reduce the type 1 error. Type 1 error is a very statistical conception. It means false positives. Yeah, false positive error. And the FWE and the FDR, they are both used to reduce the type 1 error, reduce the false positives. And for FWE, anyway, just remember, FWE is very conservative, and because it will control the probability of at least 1 type 1 error in a family statistical test. Just here, I give you an example. In FWE, we can use different ways to calculate p-value, and one way is Bonferroni correction. And here, as we all know, we typically set alpha p is 0.005, and we have 10 tests, so the p adjusted level is 0.005. And another correction method is Anderson recommend. It can give you just a little statistical power, but just a little. And another way to do multiple correction is FDR. It's also a method to reduce the type 1 error, but it's just trying to reduce the proportion of false discovery or false positives among all results. And the BH method is commonly used in FDR correction. And yeah. So anyway, just remember, FDR method has great.
No, it's just a bit like get stuff on, and again, maybe we just need to go back and read it. It's like, so how do you define number of tests? Is that related to like the cluster-based threshold, or are you always assuming like for every vertex, for every contrast? That's really, really strict, right?
Yeah, but I think here for FWE, it's set for cluster. We have different clusters.
It's like a cluster test, isn't it?
Yeah.
Otherwise, like you never reach significance.
Yeah.
A Bonferroni correction that was dividing through by the number of vertices times the number of contrasts times the number of hemispheres.
Yeah. I do that. Yeah. Okay, so here you can see in my research, if I do FDR corrections, you can see at least I have some results in circle depth because it's not conservative as FWE and it can give you more statistical power. But if I use FWE, I can only get results in surface area. At least the surface area, the results of surface area, they are stable. Okay, so that's
Is
also.
Kash on this call? Yeah.
What?
Just, yeah, I don't know if you can hear me. Just tell him that that's those are the shape changes that we were talking about. About an hour ago. They're quite extensive.
Yeah.
We were just talking about ways of testing shape-based generative models, what phenotypes we should test them on. And I said there are obviously quite striking differences in this preterm cohort frame, which is similar to the CHDs in some senses. There is definitely gyrification differences in the temporal lobe.
Yeah. I see. So that's all. Because in statistical analysis part, I'm still trying to, make everything clear, but I think it's very hard for me. Yeah. So that's all. Maybe next time I should focus only one part.
Next time we can do a presentation on TFCE.
Next year. Okay. Yeah. Do you have any questions?
We also need a presentation on like Chinese learning based pipelines to get him to come.
I sent you it's like a blog that has a super useful GIF that explains TFC.
Oh, well, yeah, I just need to just read it. I don't remember it being that.
Yeah, it's both. So that's maybe we can.
Any questions? Anybody?
Keep it spared.
Oh my God.
Who've got next?
Okay.
When's the next one?
Oh, I do have a question actually.
Oh, okay.
Does Chang's pipeline work for the surface generation for the children as well?
No, because Chang trains his model only use units DHCP data.
Okay.
But I have never tried. Maybe I can try. I know what you mean. Emma said I could try it using children's data. But I think it depends what data set you use to train your model. Oh, sorry.
What was the question?
If Chang's pipeline works for the children's pipeline, or if it's just unit.
Well, in principle, it would generalize, but you'd have to train it all on
Yeah.
the data set.
You have
Just
used
like
children
the
data.
surface-based fitting itself is being driven by the intensity gradients and volume. So when he did his journal paper, he validated from HTTP and TCP, so he trained them on both. But the whole pipeline, as far as I'm aware, has only been validated for DHCP. But I mean, it came up in the biobank, longitudinal biobank conversation. Yeah, so apparently, you weren't in this meeting, like FreeSurfer, not only is version 7 junk, but, and I don't know if this is specific to FreeSurfer, but if you run FreeSurfer on different computers, you get different results.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because of like
Just on different computer, not different.
yeah, because or different versions of the
Oh,
math
yeah,
library.
different version. Yeah, sorry.
Not just versions of FreeSurfer, the same version of FreeSurfer, but different on
Computer.
You run it on different
Computer.
clusters, then you get different results because of the well, the math libraries that they build upon have various unstable, I guess, to like, I don't know.
I
This
see.
is very Libranato. They're
Yeah.
like, so
I
because
see
of
what you
the
mean.
math libraries, whatever, any small change gets accumulated through the whole pipeline. So if there's some sort of random initialization and then that gets changed and then that results in like 1 or 2 voxels different in the white matter segmentation, and then that creates a difference in the surface, and then it just kind of, so they were like, there's huge differences in the
If you run
surfaces
this,
generated for the same subjects of the biobank when they're run like on different systems. It's like,
oh my god, it means it's a problem about replication.
yeah, so like, how can you even start about going and enforcing a level of longitudinal consistency if you're in the position where if you ran the same subject twice, they come out completely.
But you know, even for the same participant, they're scanned at different time or different machines. The surface are different. This is because
So there's the whole thing about same subject scanned twice on different
Yeah.
This is the same scanner and everything. Same image, run the same image through the free surfer pipeline twice on different systems.
Yeah, I know it.
So,
Yeah, this is the new image.
so then I was making the case that they should, I mean, like that, you know, classical pipelines are dead and they should move to learning based pipeline. But I mean, that's not. So there's this fast surfer that we could try at some point. It's supposed to be better.
Okay, fast
Surfer is a learning-based implementation of
in Q.
parts of free surfer, but I think it's just so it's similar to what Chan was trying to do, but with free surfer. But I think they use like a deep learning segmentation, and then everything else is just a fast implementation of the classic pipeline or something.
But for fast surfer, it's for adults in children data and what data size?
I don't know what. Like,
okay.
Wait, you're just running it, assuming it's good enough for free surfer anyway. All I know is that I watched like a 15-minute presentation by the PI and haven't read the paper or anything. I think it's got problems, but there's no denying like that. Like I think everybody knows that learning-based tissue segmentation is better than classical pipelines by now. And if your main issue, like source of errors, is the segmentation, then replace it. Free surface segmentation, as far as I was aware, in the original papers, basically just looks like an intensity-based thresholding with a few corrections, right? Nothing that sophisticated. Okay. Stop dicking on other people's work. You can't have it when you're recording, it's still going on. Down with free surfer.
No. No.
Certainly down with the data number for the DHCP.
But you know, for many medical research, in your image research applied in medical field, many people use free surfer because
everybody uses free surfer. Well, anybody who appreciates surfaces uses free surfer.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just sitting here thinking, I was reminded, like yesterday, I was watching your upgrade, and both Serena and Dakis couldn't remember the name of MSM. They were like, so when you use that M&M program? And I'm like,
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
How did that flip out?
Oh my god.
I was on silence, so I was like, fine.
And it was online, wasn't it?
Oh my god,
Surfaces anyway.
have we closed the meeting, metric meeting? I think I should close.
Oh my god.
Are we still recording?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, no.
Yeah.